Fermi's goal to return to Hartford was realized after defeating Norwalk 7-1 in the Division II semifinals. The 7-8-9 line went to work early as Fermi jumped out quickly. Scott White, second of three, a bang-it, made it 2-0. Then, Scott White fed Mike Bruno for his 39th goal of the season, and the Falcons were up 3-0. Then, Jeff Bemis and John McCormick combined to make it 5-0. Bemis would park home the rebound after McCormick hit the goal post. It was 5-0. Bruno would then add his second of the night, and the Falcons would go away 7-1 winners and returning to Hartford for the title game for the second year in a row. As far as the second seed Stanford Catholic goes, they too had an easy time, beating Manchester 7-0. First, Pete Leiden would score on a rebound. Older brother Steve would then jam one in, and Stanford Catholic led early, 2-0. Leiden then would complete the hat trick with a breakaway goal, a wrister 10 feet in front, and Stanford Catholic was on their way to meet the Falcons in Hartford. But the story was goalie Shane Kinahan, his second consecutive shutout, but he wants Fermi. He remembers what happened a year ago. So 6 seconds after it was 5-2, they make it 5-3, and Fermi now, I seem to waking up 5-3, scores again! Blocked in front by McCormick, and Bemis has a breakaway over the line. Moving in, backhand, Mono, pinned along the boards. Bruno slipped off the puck. Goes after it, backhand, he scores! As moving in, it's Bruno all alone, he scores!
Icing on the cake. It looks very good now. Fermi's headed to the Division II finals.
Stanford Catholic wants revenge. Fermi wants to leave Hartford with the title. It's the Division II championship coming up next on Game of the Week. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Hartford Coliseum as Continental Sports brings you coverage of the Division II Hockey Championship. It's the 19-3 Falcons of Fermi, the top seed, taking on the number 2 seed, the Crusaders of Stanford Catholic, a record of 20-4. With Fran Bodette, Bob Joyce from the Hartford Coliseum, glad you could be with us for this championship game. And Fran, this is a rematch of a semifinal game played a year ago. The Falcons have a little bit more at stake as the championship goes. They were here a year ago. They lost the Notre Dame of Fairfield 7-3. They don't want to leave Hartford without the championship. Stanford Catholic, on the other hand, has a bit of revenge on their minds, and certainly a young goalie by the name of Shane Kinahan, the senior goaltender, has a lot to prove after what happened last year.
Well, Fermi has been pointing to this game since I think that game ended last year. That from the first practice, all they've thought about is getting back here to the final. Probably since Stanford Catholic lost that game last year to Fermi, all they've thought about is getting another shot at Fermi, and now they both have fulfilled their goals to match up against each other here in the final in Hartford. This could be a heck of a game. You saw the game last year, Bobby. It was a tremendous game. If we get that kind of game here tonight, it's going to be fantastic.
No doubt about it. Fran, you have the take down the starting lineups. We're in kind of a helter-skelter kind of mode tonight. Fermi Falcons coming in with a record again of 19-3. They're the top seed. Todd Jacobs will get the start. The 7-8-9 line of Bruno, Bemis, and White. Scott White and Bruno each have 4 goals in the tournament. The defensive combination of Jason Duffy and Kevin Faholski. Todd Jacobs, the netminder. Front line will be Lance Wright, Greg Romano, and Mark Romano on the front line for Stanford Catholic. The defensive combination is TJ Kester and number 24, Sam Shirley. Starting in net, Shane Kinahan. We're underway, and the Falcons want to get off to a quick start here. It's a warm building, and it's a warm day. It was 75 degrees in the Hartford area this afternoon. Duffy at the blue line keeps it in. Bruno for one-touch pass. Bemis in the slot, and a save by Kinahan. They score! They do count it. Right off the bat, 15 seconds in, and the Falcons immediately take the lead 1-0.
Boy, there's a quick score. for Fermi. The referee pointed the lights on. That's going to count.
Bruno and White on the goals. 15 seconds into the contest. And the Falcons with a 1-0 lead for Bemis. That's his 38th of the season from Bruno and White.
And Stanford Catholic had done a really nice job bumping at the blue line. Fermi just dumped the puck back in, got a shot, and the rebound went in.
White quickly throws it in around the boards. And Kester will try to clear it out. Bemis pinching into the corner. Shirley ropes it around the boards. Boholski keeps it in at the points. Cross-ice pass intended for White. Stanford Catholic still looking to clear. Here's White, near circle a drive, deflected. Kester got a skate on it. And the Crusaders, snake bit in the first minute of play. Break back the other way, it's Steve Leiden over the line. Boholski will take him into the corner. Over there as well as Pete Leiden. He's a freshman. Leiden and the Leiden brothers had a big night against Manchester, a 7-0 win in the semifinals. Centering pass, Boholski picks it off. Crunched by the elder Leiden. And it comes out back to the blue line, kept in by Kester at the point. This is Pete Carlucci, number 7. Can't quite hang on to it, and back to center ice. 2 minutes gone here in the first period. And the Falcons quickly get on the board, just 15 seconds in, and they've been doing that in their tournament games with quick strikes. They took them only 45 seconds in the semifinal win over Norwalk. The McCormick line is out there now for the Falcons. As back is Jason Scanlon, rips it around the boards, and right to Rob Palmatier off a bad board. Palmatier gets knocked down on the play, no call. McCormick will keep it in behind the net. Pellegrini will go banging in against Scanlon, but not before it comes out. And Drew Shamera gets it out the center, and he'll come down the ice. And behind the netminder where Gavril picks it up, or no, he overskated the puck. Butler saves him. Palmatier overskates. The centering pass just missed. The intended man, Tom Gallagher. And the play back to center ice. Shamera goes back for the Crusaders of Stanford Catholic. Off the boards, Pellegrini gets stood up at the blue line. The Falcons will look to put in some pressure. Rex Morse around the boards. Crusaders try to clear, almost a giveaway. In fact, Palmatier has it on the slot score. Kinahan went down again, and the Falcons lead 2-0. They're looking to make a run of this early.
Well, Rob Palmatier, we were watching him. He twisted his knee in practice yesterday. Practice about half the time. Looked like he struggled a little in warm-ups. He was definitely going to play, and he pops in the second goal early. Fermi jumps out in front, 2-0.
One thing we noticed in the semifinal game of a year ago, Shane Kinahan went down very early, and it seems like on the 2 goals he has done that again.
Good point, Bob. He's very quick. He plays his angles well. He's got quick feet. He's got a very quick stick. If I've heard any criticism, it is that he goes down maybe a little too soon, but hopefully this doesn't hurt his confidence. This is the way the game ended last year.
Palmatier's 10th of the season, unassisted on a giveaway at 2:09. White there's been a change on the goal. White got the goal. Bruno and Bemis on the assist. Back the other way unmolested is Greg Romano, and he missed high on the short side. Now Bruno back to center ice, plays it off the boards, and it'll come right in on Jacobs. He'll steer it into the far corner. 12:15 to go, first period. The Falcons up 2-0. White and Palmatier the goal scorers. They change it to Scott White. The first one, that would be his 21st. Falcons break out. It's the number 1 line. Bemis across center, moves it over the line, drops it back for Bruno on the slot. A wrist shot, and he hit the post.
I think he hit 2 of them.
Rattled the top corner on the far side. Play comes back in the near far corner off a skate and right in the slot area. Nobody there for Fermi. It's White back in the near circle. One-touch pass from Poholski, cross ice. Looks like Gavril from here. Not much of the shot. White throws it in front. Rebound, score!
Oh, my.
This time Bruno scores. 3.5 minutes in, and the Falcons are running away and hiding in the first period. Something they did last year, at least putting shots on net. But Billy Garfield was the hot man. So far, Shane Kinahan is getting blitzed.
And I'm sure if you're Stanford Catholic at this point, you're wondering trying to figure out just what hit you. And I think you might want to regroup. I might even look for a timeout here if I'm Stanford Catholic coach Mickey Leone.
And you're right, we are going to get a timeout here. White and Gavril on the assists. 3:25 the time of the goal. Wow, that's about all you can say. We expected a dinger here, and it's been...
Bobby, I'll be honest with you. I expected this feeling out process to go on, you know, like two heavyweights that square off and they kind of feel each other out a little bit first just to get the feel of it. I don't think there was an awful lot of scouting that went on, or certainly this year between the two teams. They know each other pretty well. Certainly a little bit, that's a different start than I expected.
Wow, I'm as surprised as you are. The Falcons, oh man, they have just laid it to Stanford Catholic. Stanford Catholic had one good chance. It was Romano on the right side. Coming in, and he went to the short side high, and he overshot the net. Wow. I'm speechless. I just can't. It's nothing what I expected. The Falcons coming in here, they have just been playing great hockey in the tournament after a lackluster ending to the season. They've been winning on talent alone. 6-2 winner over Cheshire in the first round, and then in the second round, semifinals after a first round bye, they beat Norwalk. Game you saw here last week on Continental Sports, 7-1. Manchester was the victim to Stanford Catholic in the semifinals. As a matter of fact, coming into this game, Shane Kinahan did not give up a goal. He shut out Rockville 5-0, shut out Manchester in the semifinals 7-0. And so far here, Fermi has just blitzed Kinahan for 3 quickies in the first 3.5 minutes.
They've been steamrolling past opponents, and it looks more the same tonight.
Now it's McCormick on a block, moving into the slot. Kinahan scores! Oh, he knocked it in himself. Wow.
I'll second that.
McCormick unassisted. It's 4-0. 22nd of the year.
Well, if that doesn't psych them out, nothing will. I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
Kinahan,
exactly
and
like
even on that goal, Kinahan was down on his knees when he gloved it, and he went to knock it away with his stick, and he still managed to put it in himself.
The last thing I expected to see walking into the Civic Center tonight was a blowout.
I tell you, Stanford Catholic needs a goal and fast. That's all I can tell you. Carlucci has no luck bringing it in. Pellegrini just across center, dumps it in. Behind the net, it's Jason Scanlon around the boards, and the Crusaders clear to center. Pellegrini and company throwing their bodies around. Butler behind the net for Fermi. They can roll it around the boards for Gavro. We've only played 4 minutes, and the Falcons have blitzed Stanford Catholic for 4 quickies. White, Palmatier, Bruno, McCormick. At the center ice area, Carlucci gets knocked down. Sandwich, Gavro stands him up in the neutral zone. Morris throws it in far corner. McCormick goes back. Drew Shamera putting on some pressure, ripped around the boards. Pellegrini gets sandwiched. And we're going to have our first whistle and our first penalty of the evening. And it will go against the Crusaders of Stanford Catholic. And number 18, Gary Rafferty, into the box, 2 minutes. And Greg Gilmartin gives us the call downstairs in just a minute here.
I think that's checking from behind, Bob. Looks like checking from behind. We'll wait for Greg.
The penalty, number 18, Gary Rafferty, 2 minutes for hitting from behind. Time of that penalty at 4:33.
4:33 the penalty time. Stanford Catholic's first penalty.
Things just keep getting, this is a nightmare.
Falcons go to the power play as if Stanford Catholic doesn't need any more to go wrong. Romano with some good forechecking as Gavro almost gave the puck up right in front of his own nets. White across center, rips it in, blocked by the defense. Kester got a leg on it. Morris will go back for Stanford Catholic. White will put on some pressure. Of course, for the tournament, White got moved up to the first line, moved John McCormick back to the second line to somewhat balance the scoring. So far in this game, they've done so. Steal by Mark Romano, moves it across center over the line. Weak side, Gavel rides him down, no call. Greg Romano ties up McCormick, and the play comes out the center as White comes in over the line, looks, waits, he's got Bemis in front, and sent back to the point. McCormick, a drive, and it's caught by Kinahan, and he'll hold, and that's the first save he's even made in this hockey game so far with 9:32 to go. And 1:05 left on the man advantage for Fermi. Fran?
Well, if I'm Mickey Leone, I come into this game and I think, well, I'm going to wear these guys down. They're a little bigger than us, so I'm going to skate. I'm going to throw 3 forward lines out there. I'm going to have 2 sets of defensemen, and I'm going to wear them down. I'm going to be up-tempo. If that's my game plan, boy, I'm in trouble right now.
The scouting report came in on Stanford Catholic. A small team, a quick team with maybe a little more depth than Fermi. So far, the Falcons have put the screws to them, though, in the first 5 minutes of action here at the Coliseum. It's 4-0 Falcons on the power play. White looks to get it out. He'll have to retreat behind his own net. 45 seconds left of the man advantage, and here comes White on his own up the center. Poke checked the line. Lance Wright with the stick check. Ripped in and around the boards. Kester gets it for Stanford Catholic. He'll go right up the middle. Bruno blocks it at the point. Far circle, Morris takes him into the corner. Right up with the puck, goes on the weak side, and with Carlucci's help, the Falcons will have to retreat and down the ice. 20 seconds left. One last rush up coming for Fermi on the man advantage. Paholski up for White, overled him, and it's come back down the ice, or maybe not. Blocked by Carlucci, and it's backhanded to the blue line, the Fermi blue line. Inside 10 seconds left in the man advantage. Bruno over the line, drops it for Bemis. Bemis gets by one. Stanford Catholic player centers, but it's poked away by Kester. Paholski at the point of drive, save right on. And it's cleared out to center as the penalty time is up on Rafferty.
And that was a crucial kill.
And a crucial save from the point as well. 8:15 to go, first period. Fast-moving first period. Lance Wright up over the line for the Crusaders. Jacobs really yet to be tested. Backhander blocked by the defense. The defense has done an outstanding job for Fermi, clogging up the middle. And they've done a good job, the forwards, having back-checking in the tournament so far. McCormick by 2 guys, they fall, moves in a 2-on-1. Pellegrini shoots, he scores.
Brett Pellegrini with a first-class deke. And make that 5-0 Fermi.
The whole play started when McCormick worked his way around 2 Stanford Catholic players. They ran into each other and opened up a quick 2-on-1. And again, Kinahan going down too quickly, and it gave Pellegrini the open net. And the Falcons have put up a 5 spot here in the first period.
And what a turnaround, because Gary Rafferty actually had a decent chance down at the other end against Fermi. And a chance to maybe get him back in the game here at 4-1, and all of a sudden it's 5-0 Fermi.
7:06 the time of the goal. Who would have ever thought icing the call on Stanford Catholic? And you look at this schedule that Stanford Catholic played during the season. They beat 3 of the teams that made the Division I Final Four. We're talking Greenwich, East Catholic, and the other one, who was, help me.
Well, they beat Ridgefield.
Yeah, they've beaten Ridgefield. Their other victory was over Notre Dame of Fairfield.
Notre Dame of Fairfield.
The team that beat Fermi last year.
Well, you know, 4 of their losses, Bob, their losses came to Ridgefield and New Canaan during the regular season. When they played in the county championships, they beat both Ridgefield and New Canaan. They've beaten some great teams.
In the league they play in, they're a very difficult league, and those are Division I teams that made the Division I tournaments.
That's why this surprises me so much. The competition that they've played all year is so strong. Maybe it's not over yet.
Well, one thing an advantage to Fermi now with this 5-0 lead in the warm building, and this is one thing Bob Palmatier mentioned as the plays at center, Romano over the center line. We'll get back to that thought in a minute. 3-on-3 here, Romano on the slotted drive. Kick save by Jacobs, who's sharp on his first shot on goal. Kester at the point. He'll rip and fire through a screen, and a man got a hand on it. Romano with a shot. Short side off the net. Checked away. Tolby with the check. Todd Tolby, and this is one thing Fermi can do now with a 5-0 lead. They can go to their bench a little more. Butler on the defense on a rush himself. Gets around one man in the slot, and he missed the net wide as he's brought down by Lance Wright. Scott Tolby, 23 out there. Brother Todd gets knocked down by Lance Wright. This will be a big plus for the Falcons, being able to go to a 4th line, especially in a warm building. Stanford Catholic may not be used to this because you remember, the high school teams mainly play in rinks that are cold. Fermi played here last year. They know the atmosphere here. Bruno open in the slot, a wrist shot, he missed the net wide.
He was in clean.
Kinahan again went down early. He still must be mesmerized by Fermi. Still remembers that nightmare of a year ago. He was hoping to redeem himself, and Paholski comes up with a 2-minute penalty here, and now a little rough stuff behind the net, and who knows if they may give Paholski some more here.
A little kick there.
With 6:04 to go in the first period. Paholski at least will get 2 here. And let's go to Greg Gilmartin for the call, the penalty.
Penalty number 18, Kevin Paholski, 2 minutes for hooking. Time of the penalty at 8:56.
So now Stanford Catholic will look to get on the board here as Paholski gets 2 for the hook. And that comes at 8:56.
Well, a real opportunity here, Bob. Stanford Catholic's got to get on the board here in the first period, I would think. They got to put one home, and here's as good a chance as any to get this thing turned around a little bit and get a little momentum built up for the second period.
They don't only need 1 goal, they need a couple.
Yeah.
No question about it. So now on the power play, Tom Gallagher throws it in behind the net. McCormick with the backhand. Kester pinching in at the corner. Stood up nicely by one of the Fermi players. I believe that's Butler, and it's ripped down the ice. So that's Gavro. Who else? You should figure that. You get a hard check, you see Rick Gavro down there. And a steal, and the net's open. The wraparound thrown in front by Paul Matier. And Gallagher will skate it out over the blue line, out to center ice, and a 2-line pass is called with 5:26 and a minute 22 left on the penalty to Kevin Paholski for the hook.
And I think that the Stanford Catholic net also got dislodged. That might have been a reason for the whistle.
Bob Joyce, Fran Bodette, final broadcast of the 1990 winter sports season here on Game of the Week. Again, we have to rely on the Fermi hockey team for the 2nd year in a row. The basketball teams, none of them get to the Final Four. In fact, the first time in a long time that the Final Four of the Class S state tournament did not have at least 1 team from the NCCC in the Final Four. Bruno wins the faceoff back to Gavro, and he'll use the boards and rip it to center ice anyways, where Jason Scanlon feeds it onto the near side boards. Morris tries to flip it in. Bemis looks to clear off of Bruno's skate. Lance Wright stood up by McCormick, and here comes Bruno away. He'll drag some time and just slowly rip it down the ice, and a penalty upcoming, a check behind the back coming up to Romano of Stanford Catholic. That would be Mark Romano, the senior co-captain. Right in Bruno's back, and that negates the Stanford Catholic power play, and that comes at 9:59.
Stanford Catholic returns the favor, checking from behind. Again, another problem here for Stanford Catholic, Bob, is that, you know, if you're trying to come back and score against Fermi, they've been playing pretty defensively. They've been playing very well. Todd Jacobs has played well. He's played well in the tournament. They've got 2 sets of defensemen that have been playing real well, so they're going to be tough to come back on.
Well, that's the whole thing with the Falcons. The Falcons have yet to be scored upon in the first 2 periods of play in the state tournament. I think that, in all honesty, now credit, Stanford Catholic plays a tough regular season schedule.
True.
But the 2 teams they played in the tournament are common opponents of Fermi. They're league opponents of Fermi. Fermi blitzed both of them during the regular season. So you can't really use that as a barometer. Kinahan did have to make some great saves, granted, including a penalty shot. But I still think Fermi had a tougher opponents in the state tournament in Norwalk and Cheshire, especially Cheshire. Cheshire beat them during the regular season. Kinahan goes down on the deflection, and he covers up. But again, you see the senior netminder going to his knees early.
And he's struggling. You're right.
Yeah, that's a big key. 4:42 to go. It only took Fermi 15 seconds of regulation to get on the board. White is 21st from Mike Bruno. And then it was Paul Matier at 2:09, Bruno at 3:25, then McCormick, Pellegrini, and it's 5-0. Who would have ever thought? Back the other way, it's Greg Romano in the slot, high and wide. Butler comes back with Carlucci putting on some pressure, and the Falcons in 20 seconds will have the man advantage. Right now it's Bemis and Bruno on a 2-on-2. Bemis trying to do it all himself. He gets into work for Bruno. Butler trailer moving in the slot. Save right on. Rebound kicked away.
Nice drop pass by Jeff.
Lining kept the puck away from a secondary rebound, and Stanford Catholic gets it out of the zone. And now the Falcons will have the power play for the next minute. 4 minutes exactly, first period to play. Falcons have blitzed Stanford Catholic for a 5-0 first period lead. Bruno along with McCormick moving up over the line. Dances through, still manages to get a stick on it. Again, Kinahan goes down early and wide. Just no confidence at all for the senior netminder right now.
Nice poke check.
Duffy with a big poke check and a high sticking call coming up here, and a shorthanded check to the score. Lance Wright will negate the penalty, I believe, as off a giveaway. Stanford Catholic has gotten on the board with 3:35 left in the period.
Well, there's a big goal if you're ever going to get one. Short-handed. Who knows? Maybe that could be the start of a big turnaround. I think at this point, Stanford Catholic's got to just get so sky high and hope that Fermi, like last year, Fermi had a great first period. They couldn't have played a much better in the championship game, a better first period, and they got a little tired. I think they're better prepared for that this year. They seem to be taking shorter shifts. There's an awful lot of water on that bench. They're drinking an awful lot of water. So I think they're aware that the building is warmer. They don't want to wear themselves out. They still got a 4-goal lead, but that's got to help Stanford Catholic here with 3:35 to go in the first.
Gavril will get a 2-minute penalty. It is not, in high school, it's not a delayed penalty. They still give him 2 for the high stick. That 2 at 11:25. Fermi's second penalty. Each team has been penalized twice so far. And with 3:35 to go, the teams will play four-side for the next 34 seconds. So again, a good opportunity here for Stanford Catholic to get on the board. Now they take the penalty off here. On the Fermi side, I still think
You're right,
they'll have a 2-minute penalty. Well, I would think Fermi, I still think he would get something here. We'll have to see what happens. Teams right now are four-side.
Well, Fermi's got 5 guys, right?
Yeah, you're right, they do have 5 guys. Maybe it was a misconduct. We'll have to get a check on that at the end of the period. Poholski gets rid of the boards, but he gets it out to McCormick in the process. Lance Wright to do some forechecking. We're down to 3 minutes to play, first period.
Well, we found out they forecheck well and they kill penalties well.
Pellegrini gets it out to the center ice area. Kester and another man runs into each other for Stanford Catholic. Maybe it was Leiden. Leiden, Wright, and Kester were in the same vicinity when they all ran into each other. And now Kester will ride it around the boards near side for Butler for Fermi. Kept in, Palmatier centers. Pellegrini was right at the doorstep. The knock in a pass if it got through. Centers it for McCormick, loose in front. And Kinahan sprawls out to knock it away. And here comes the Crusaders with 2.5 to go in the period. It's Steve Leiden over the line. A shot right on. A little wide, actually. Romano for Steve Leiden. Leiden backhands it off the back of the net. Butler will ride it around the boards. Morris keeps it in. Leiden turns around right on net. Jacobs gets the 5-hole covered in time. And Pellegrini will clear out the center ice. 2:08 to play in the period. And now it's Romano. Give and go, deflected wide. Mark Romano with the deflection. Pellegrini looks to clear off a Bemis. Butler gets crunched, but the puck still comes to center, and McCormick and Poholski working hard. If he gets loose, he's got Bemis in front. Bodies go all over the place. Poholski slowed a man down.
Tempo's really picking up here at the end of the period.
Gary Rafferty throws it in. White goes back, fan down the clear, but 2 more Falcons there to cover up. Poholski goes on the offensive now with 1:30 to go in the period. Bruno gets it over to Bemis onside, moving in a drive. Blocked away, centering pass. If Poholski had turned around, he had a rebound to bang in. Instead, it's Stanford Catholic back the other way at center. Now they give it up. Duffy leaves it for Bruno. Duffy was a question mark. He hurt his knee in the semifinals. Bruno shoots high and wide. Kinahan steers into the corner. Bemis comes up with it. Moore stands him up. Final minute of play in the period. Takes advantage of a centering pass. It's Bruno from White. Blocked. Second chance. Still manages to get a stick on it. And here comes Stanford Catholic as we're back to 5 aside here in the final minute of play in the period. Duffy does a good job with a check. And Pete Leiden had to dance his way out of the way. Carlucci gets it back to the point, but Morris couldn't keep it in, and they have to reload with a half minute to play in the period. Bemis plays it off the boards. White gives it up to Steve Leiden, who gets it to his little brother with 20 seconds to go. That's the freshman Pete Leiden. Back to Steve in the slot, score! Jacobs was a little deep in his own crease. And Stanford Catholic gets 2 back here. With 17 seconds left, it's 5-2.
You're right, Bob. He was a little deep. He didn't play that angle real well. It was a great shot, though. Very accurate shot. I had noticed that on the shot on the previous shift where he was a little deep in his net. Usually the more confident a goaltender is, he's usually going to come out a little further. He was backed all the way up, 5-2. Interesting.
Yeah, after Fermi got off to a quick start, Kinahan certainly has settled down. McCormick gets crunched.
Monster
Morris
hit.
throws an elbow. So that's going to give Stanford Catholic some momentum in the final 10 seconds. They have a last rush before the end of the period. Jacobs will just steer it into the corner. Romano will get a shot off, maybe, before the horn. Morris shoots it way wide, and that ends the first period.
He had the same angle on that shot. He's protecting that corner very, very well, but if you've got a real accurate shot, you can hit that far side.
So after the first 6 minutes, where Fermi scored 5 quickies, the Crusaders have come back with 2 of their own and trail by 3 at the end of the first period. It's 5-2 Falcons, back with second period action from the Hartford Coliseum. After this timeout, you're watching Continental Sports coverage of Game of the Week from the Hartford Coliseum.
It's here, the rematch basketball game the whole family's been waiting for. Be there when the Stafford Springs Volunteer Fire Department challenges the Harlem Magicians to a night of basketball you'll never forget. Sunday, April 1st at Stafford Springs High School. The fun starts at 7 p.m. sharp. You can purchase your ticket at the Stafford Springs Fire Station or call Len Champagne at 684-5006. That's 684-5006.
The winter sports season of 1990 had just about everything in the Continental viewing area. A championship coming to Fermi, a team going through adversity at Summers, and transition in the towns of East Windsor and Suffield. Please join Phil Sweetland, Fran Bodette, and me, Bob Joyce, as we take a look back at these stories and more on Game of the Week's Winter Sports Wrap-Up, Tuesday, April 10th at 8 on Continental Sports, Channel 8. Back in our second period action at the Hartford Coliseum, Bob Joyce and Fran Bodette. Shots on goal in the first period, 12-6 to Fermi. Individual shots for Fermi. McCormick had 3. Bruno and Bemis each had 2. Butler, White, Palmatier, Faholski, and Duffy with 1. Romano and Wright, that's Greg Romano and Lance Wright with 2 shots each for Stanford Catholic. Mark Romano and Steve Leiden with a shot each. Each team assessed with 2 penalties, and so far we have had ourselves a wild hockey game here in the first period. The 7 goals, 6 were even strength, and 1 was shorthanded. And that was Wright's goal from Shalala. Fran Bodette, by no means is Stanford Catholic out of this hockey game.
I think Stanford, well, the next goal is key. Very important for them to get the next goal. If they do, I think Stanford's going to come back. I think I was real impressed. They could have phoned in the rest of that period, and they didn't. They hung in there. They clawed their way back in. They've got a lot of depth. Should Fermi start to tire, I think emotionally, those goals at the end of the period are going to give them a very big lift. And they can get back in it. It's a 3-goal game. There's 2 periods to go. I mean, remember the game that they played, Stanford Catholic and Fermi played last year, when it looked like when Stanford Catholic had a 3-goal lead, and you wouldn't think Fermi could come back, but they did. Stanford Catholic could still win this hockey game.
By the way, so you know we're really at a real hockey game, listen to this. Welcome to the Hartford Civic Center, folks.
And Scott Roua,
right,
the organ.
And he does an excellent job, too.
He does.
Well, the Falcons have brought a pretty good throng here. Stanford Catholic's brought a pretty good crowd, too. We start the second period. They switch sides, and Fermi off the face-off. Bruno gets hooked a little bit, nothing major. And here comes Bruno working over the line. He's got Bemis, moves into the slots. Around one green shirt, around another. Centers for Bemis, poked away. And Lance Wright will play it out to center ice. But immediately poked back in. Falcons clear the zone and begin the attack. Shirley ridden off the play, and now it's Romano. Mark Romano for Stanford Catholic up to brother Greg. Gavro plays tagged with him into the boards. Bemis will poke check it for Gavro. And he's got Bruno coming off the boards, but he missed him. Kester keeps it in at the point. Bemis' second effort can't get it out. Comes right off the side of the net. Fortunately, Jacobs and one of his defensemen, being Butler, were there at the right place at the right time. Romano anticipated the puck coming towards the blue line on one side of him and went around him the other way. Bemis held up at the blue line. Stanford Catholic comes on the move. It's Lance Wright to the right wing. Top of the circle drive right on, and he scores! Mark Romano on the rebound. Nobody picked up, and it's 5-3.
I thought he was going to give him the pass originally. He didn't. He went for the shot. Jacobs had it and dropped it. He basically had it, and Mark was right there, Mark Romano, for the gimme. And there's that third goal, or that first goal of the period we talked about. Anybody's ball game. Now, you know, at the beginning of this game, we didn't get a chance to talk about it at the open. I think Stanford Catholic was just really nervous. First time in the Civic Center, big crowd, an awful lot of seats, and I just think they were nervous. But now they're back in the ball game.
Second line out there for the Falcons. McCormick off the face-off. Ripped in. Bouncing puck went right underneath the stick of Jacobs. That easily could have gone off the post as the puck is iced.
Neither one of these guys, Bob, is playing with an awful lot of confidence right now.
Jason Scanlon, almost a three-quarter length of the rink goal. Played a minute 10 of period 2. It's 5-3.
Kinahan has been touted as a possible Division I goalie.
Not by the way he's played in the first period.
Well, that's true.
But again, remember, this is the first time in Hartford. Off-balance drive by McCormick. Kinahan will play it off the backboards. Bad hop. McCormick at the point. Looks to center. Nobody there. Shamara can't, or Fermi can't keep it in. Pellegrini with a little extracurricular shove there. And they'll face it off just outside the Stanford Catholic zone. 13:34 to play in the second period.
Very interesting to see, Bob, how these teams react, just emotionally, psychologically right now, how these kids are going to react right now. Look at the Stanford Catholic crowd across the way starting to get into it, that's for sure.
Fermi's a little quieter. Here's Steve Leiden. He had the second goal, picked off by Palmatier. Poholski checks around off the board. Steve Leiden runs into the official, and it's clear. No, lighting up with it, shoots, and it's right on. The rebound. Fortunately, McCormick was there at the right place at the right time. Duffy with an extracurricular check on Pete Leiden. Steve up with the puck. Looks for the wraparound. He's ridden off the puck. Back to the point area. It's Shirley. Drive is blocked. Palmatier for Fermi. Looks to clear. Stick dekes out. McCormick away. Carries it out. Pellegrini with him. He'll drive it in wide the nets. Palmatier there for Fermi. Carlucci with some extra second effort. Gets it out. And here comes Steve Leiden up the right wing. He scored on a snap wrister last time. Shot and a glove down by Jacobs high and over the crossbar. Shirley keeps it in at the point. Wraps it around for Duffy. Steve Leiden will beat him to the puck. White's there for Fermi. He gets it out on second effort. And offside's the call as Stanford Catholic did not quite clear the zone in time. 12:28 to go here in the second period. And again, the Crusaders, after falling down 5-zip, have come back with 3 and trail by 2 here.
And that line, Bobby, with Carlucci, Leiden, and Leiden, another good shift, another great scoring chance. That line's playing exceptionally well.
One thing this Stanford Catholic team does have is a lot of depth. They have 9 players that range anywhere from 23 to 40 points on the scoring list this year. White away, he's got a man in front, it's Bemis, and he missed the net. That's usually money in the bank for Fermi. Bemis all alone in. Here's White in, moving into the short side, Kinahan down, poked away. Shot by Gavin with the point, it's blocked by the defense. And here comes Lance right away. Butler, see if he can get there on time to cut the angle off. Moves in. Jacobs will cover up as it was flashed away, and a penalty coming up for a slash on Lance Wright. Good call by the official. Excellent call. No reason why Lance Wright should be throwing his stick on Jacobs when he easily covered up, and Wright, a good 5 feet away when he covered, came in and tried to slash the puck away after the whistle. And let's see how long he's going to get in the penalty box here. That'll be very interesting to see. They're going to give him 2, the minor. Third Stanford Catholic penalty of the evening.
And Greg Romano's down around the blue line, and he's really struggling to get up. They're going to have the trainer, or I think that's assistant coach Tom Barcelo going out to take a look, and now the trainers also.
We played 3:04 of the second period. Falcons will go on the power play.
We don't have access to a to the replay here, but Bob, I think I agree with you. It looked like I was surprised that he actually covered up, because it really wasn't anybody immediately around him. I thought he was going to play it, but again, he's not too confident. He's got a guy coming down on him.
You brought up the key word, though. Nobody was there. Nobody in white, nobody in green. If Jacobs knocks it over to the corner, Wright has a chance to get it, and if he has a guy in green coming as a trailer, you have an open man in front. So Jacobs did do the right thing, I believe.
Yeah, and there was a split second there where he basically had the puck under control, and it was at that point that the Stanford Catholic player came in and took a pretty good swipe at the puck. I mean, that was he didn't just poke at it. He took a good swing. Dangerous play.
Did you see the injury here that occurred? Because I did not.
No, I was watching the action around Todd Jacobs. When I looked up, he was already down.
Well, the Fermi High has certainly brought a big gathering. I think it's could be cramps. It's Greg Romano. He's going to skate it off. That is Greg Romano, number 11. I believe he had cramps there. Again, they're playing in a warm building. It was a warm day. You could get those very easily. The salt tablets are a must tonight here at the Hartford Coliseum. What a day. It was 75 degrees out today. Unbelievable. Went out, did some yard work. I don't know, did I get a tan? No, I guess not. Greg Romano on the face-off, along with, I believe it's Bruno. He's got White and Bemis with him. McCormick will play the point as the Falcons go to the man advantage here at the 3:04 mark of period 2.
And that's the kind of mental mistake that can really hurt you in a close hockey game like this one.
And especially with the momentum that Stanford Catholic has. But remember, they do have a shorthanded goal in this game.
Excellent penalty killing.
Fermi 0 for 2. In fact, both teams yet to score on the man advantage.
And with Carlucci and Romano out there, they can score.
The SHG was scored by Lance Wright, who is in the box right now, as right away Kester rips it down the ice. And Jacob steers it for John McCormick, the emotional leader of the Fermi Falcons. White gets by Carlucci and the Falcons away. This is Rick Gavril, the other point man. Spins, leaves it for Bruno in the slot. Finds a man open. White one-timed it and he missed it. Saved right on. Bruno, near circle. Back to Gavril, great slap shot. Drive, and Kinahan now has the confidence. He gloved it down just like a sharp goalie normally would. He's got it going.
Quick glove on that one. That was a nice save. He was well positioned, and Stanford Catholic did an excellent job of clearing the front of the net. He had a good view. He saw that one all the way. Played the angle very well.
That was the whole key to the play. Nobody was between Gavril and Kinahan. White will take the face-off. Minute 22 left in the man advantage for the Falcons, right in the box for SC.
He puts Greg Romano out there for Carlucci, the Romano brothers.
Bruno played with the puck a little too much in the slot, still has it. He's a great playmaker. He looks for Bemis in the slot. McCormick's back at the point. Bemis plays it off the boards for the stuff play. Bemis gets stood up, the puck comes loose. White with it near side. Looks, waits, back to Bruno, top of the circle. Pass a little weak. Will Stanford Catholic clear? Morris, White, Romano in there. Bruno up with the puck. Drop back for McCormick. A drive deflected right on, and somehow Kinahan managed to stay with it. And it's cleared down the ice.
Kester doing a very good job taking care of Bemis in front of the net.
Gavril with 30 seconds left in the man advantage. Up for White. They'll just dump it in, and the Crusaders will clear. Actually, it went off either an official or one of the Fermi players. I think it was it Gavril down there? Gavril or, no, Daryl Tavernier, the young man on the bench, number 14, the freshman. It went off his helmet. And back onto the ice as Gavril is still out there on the man advantage. 27 seconds to go.
Dangerous down there.
Well, make no mistake about it. Both teams gave up goals for the first time in the first or second period in tonight's contest. This one will end up going down the wire.
I think you're right.
But I think Fermi is glad to be ahead 5-3 than down 5-3.
You know, the last time, well, let's watch this play.
Paul Mateer working hard on Morris, stands him up. Pellegrini centers it, and McCormick missed the one-timer. Gavrot through screen, he scores! Kinahan had the mad battle with a floater. Gavrot did not get all of it. And at 4:58, a big Fermi power play goal makes it 6-3. And it'll be interesting to see who they give the goal to, Fran. So on the face-off, the Falcons get one back. And Gavrot is given credit. Pellegrini the assist. 4:58, 6-3. For Gavrot, that's only his third of the season. He scored one in the title game last year. Duffy rolls it around the boards. Carlucci gets a stick on it for SC, and here come the Crusaders. Leiden from Leiden, a little too long, and the Falcons reload, dump it in, and they'll change here. Long shift for the first line. We get a whistle, and I think the play is offsides.
And I'm sure at this point, Stanford Catholic just wants to, they don't want to lose their concentration. They've just got to focus in, make this one shift at a time. Still a 3-goal game, but
I think it's a big goal for Fermi because it settles them down a bit. Much like the way Stanford Catholic, when they got the first goal, you could see the change in them.
To a certain degree, stops the momentum that Stanford Catholic has.
Bruno centers in front. Bemis couldn't quite get a stick on as he was tied up by, I believe it was Morris. Now Bemis has room to operate. Kinahan down, and he covers for the draw. And it was Morris cleaning house out in front.
Yeah, and defensively, they're doing a good job at that. Kinahan's playing a little stronger in goal. The two defensive pairings for Stanford Catholic are clearing the front of the net, playing very good. That was a long shot. I mean, that was a long shot from the point.
Scan. Go ahead, finish that thought.
Well, just again, a deflected goal, but they're playing well in front of the net.
Duffy gets a second life after fanning on the first clear. Here comes Bemis. Poke checked away by Scanlon. Drew Shamir is away. He's crunched by Duffy into the boards. Jason Duffy playing like his old self despite the injury in the Division II semifinal, in which he missed most of the game. He didn't skate until Monday. Bemis tied up for a moment. A little extracurricular pushing and shoving by Duffy, no call. Morris and Duffy now into the boards. A headlock by Duffy, nothing called yet. Gallagher and Bemis behind the net now, and Bemis comes up with it. He stood up, and the play comes down the ice. Kinahan will go out as it's 1-on-3. Batted out to the center ice area where Bemis has a head of steam going. He's sandwiched up, and now second life. Poke checked it away. Kinahan got a stick on it. Morris behind the net. It goes right underneath Phil Shalala, and he was in no man's land there. Just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, and with 8:07 to go, they'll face it off to the right of goalie Kinahan. Fran.
Well, and Kinahan showed me some confidence there. He didn't hesitate one split second. He just went for the puck and made a nice play. You know, Bob, I'll tell you, I think this is the perfect strategy for Stanford Catholic. They've been in the last time they were in the finals, 1980, 1981, they lost 3-2 to Staples in the final. The last 2 years they've been in the semifinals, they've been ahead and lost in the third. So they probably want to come from behind.
Is that a fact? Who else did they lose to? Do you have
Don't
that?
know. No,
Oh.
I know the Staples 3-2. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was don't know. Well, last year in the semis to Fermi.
Right.
The year before, I want to say Richfield, but I'm not sure.
Romano, he was the man down earlier, that being Mark Romano, back on the ice, playing his usual chaotic self. He throws his body around like nobody's business. He did last year in that semifinal game. 7:48, second period remaining. And we have a lot of people to thank for this broadcast tonight. We'll tell you about it a little later on when we have a a major combination of things working for us tonight to get this broadcast together. And we'll give credit to the people that credit is due in our third period. Pellegrini tied up. And Greg Romano retreats for SC. They look to reload here. Brother Mark on the move. He winds up, but he's checked by Paul Matier. His momentum is stopped, and a holding penalty upcoming here against the Falcons. Brett Pellegrini, the culprit. Fermi's third penalty.
Well, there's a break for Stanford Catholic. There's a real opportunity to get back in this game. You hear that penalty door?
2 minutes for holding. Time of the penalty is 7:42.
7:42 is the time of the penalty, by the way. Third penalty. Each team has been assessed 3 penalties so far in this hockey game. Neither team, or excuse me, Fermi did score late in their power play on the last one they had. That's enabled them to regain a 3-goal advantage.
Well, if you notice that, Bob, Scott Raw with his new sound effect, when that penalty box door closed, you could hear it, like at Madison Square Garden, how it creaks and crashes.
Yeah, that organ up there can do a lot of great things, of what I understand.
And computers and hockey.
Pete lighting up the brother Steve. He's looks to winds out, cross-ice pass for Pete Carlucci. Carlucci stops the line, waits for someone to pass to. At the point, winds and fires. Steve Leiden had to go off a white stick in the slot, bouncing around. Gabriel pokes it away, and Bemis is off for Fermi. Around Leiden. No, Leiden gets a skate on it and comes back the other way. Bruno poke checks him. Bruno and Bemis, I tell you, that is a dangerous penalty killing combination there. When you have those two on a roll, it's very tough for them to stop. They were a one-man wrecking crew on the man advantage for Cheshire in the first round. In fact, Bruno got a shorthanded goal on a breakaway as Bemis is offsides. Minute 5 to go on the SC man advantage, and really so far, Fermi's done a good job in bottling it up, the man advantage here, nothing in front.
That's true. It makes for some very aggressive penalty killing when you get 2 offensive standouts like Bruno and Bemis out there. It's like having, Wayne Gretzky, or maybe having like a Steve Yzerman killing penalties for you. You know, or a Dennis Savard. You got to watch him every minute.
Scanlon off the draw, gets it back to the man who won it, Romano, over to right. Right on the left side, play was offsides. 58 seconds left in the man advantage.
Well, one thought I had, Bob, was, Mickey Leone has been been coaching at Stanford Catholic for 27 years. 27 years of football, 16 years of baseball, 12 years of hockey. You know these guys are going to be well coached, and they're not just going to collapse here. They're going to stay in this game.
Well, by the track record, semifinals the last 2 years and a championship appearance this year, you would think so. Right, off a bouncing puck, moving in, a drive right on, and Jacobs got the skate on it and blocked it down with the pad. Great play by Jacobs holding his own, and he did a lot of that in the first 2 rounds of the state tournament. Outstanding save as Wright went in and tried to beat him with the backhander.
Things starting to get a little physical, like they were at the end of the first period. I think we'll see a very physical game before this is over.
And to the credit of both teams so far, only 6 penalties called by the officials, 3 each to the club. Scanlon off the draw, throws it behind the nets. White there for Fermi with 35 seconds left in the man advantage. Paul Matier tried to get it to McCormick, no luck, but White, the secondary man, brings it down the ice, and Jason Scanlon retreats for the Crusaders. Butler has the puck elude him. Romano off to the races. Butler overskates the puck. Romano goes for the stuff play, but Jacobs had the post covered. Open in the slot, the other Romano. Being Gregg, gets it to Mark in the slot, a wrist shot right on, bouncing puck, and Jacobs covers. No goal, no goal, whistle blew.
Puck was definitely in the net.
Definitely after the whistle blew, though. 6 seconds left in the man
that's
advantage.
true. I'm not sure if Todd had it, though. He was looking behind him, feeling behind him. I think it was in between his pads.
Now remember, too, once the referee loses sight of that puck, he can blow that whistle.
Boy, Mark Romano, really quick hands. And he got off a nice wrister.
Off the draw, Jacobs again, another big save off a Romano drive.
Actually, more of the shot that Marketoff was more of a snapshot. He had a little bit more time. He was able to wind it up a little bit.
Actually, it was Gallagher that took the shot as he was lined up right in the back, top of the circle there. Penalty time just about over. It is now. Back to 5 aside as Shamera missed on the deflection. Gallagher as the trailer. Poke check by Bruno, and a 2-on-2 with the two men you do not want to face. Or actually, it's Pellegrini, the other Falcon. Poke check by Kester, and SC comes back the other way. Gallagher knocked away by Bemis. Stick down by Bruno. It's a 1-on-3 at the moment. Fermi looking to change here. Bemis right over the blue line, out the zone, and the faceoff will come just outside of the blue line of SC. 4:52 to go in the second period. The teams have exchanged goals. Mark Romano at 1:05. Gavro on the power play at 4:58 at 6-3.
TJ Kester, what a great shift. He was all over the place, breaking up plays.
Bob Joyce, Fran Modette, Hartford Coliseum, Division II Hockey Championship. Falcons looking to lead the Civic Center with the cup this season. SC looking for revenge from last year's 7-5 semifinal loss. Steve Leiden trying to get around Paholski, centering pass for brother Pete, but he was tied up nicely. Second shot, rebound is loose, and Leiden missed the post wide on the near side. Comes right through. Jacobs dives out and covers as Carlucci was there on the doorstep.
Yeah, Carlucci with another chance. They're starting to swarm a little bit, 2 or 3. You know, one goal that gets called back. And two good, solid opportunities right there.
Well, as we mentioned, I tell you, if SC should lose this by a goal or two, they're going to be looking back to the start of this game, the first 6 minutes, the first 7 minutes. Kinahan was out of it. They just got shell-shocked, 5-0, and it's so tough to play from behind, but they've managed to stay in the game. They got it to 5-3 before Gavro scored on the power play. Leiden off the draw, back to the point, wristed, deflected down, wide. Jacobs went down a little early. Pete lined up with it, but Bruno's there to knock the puck away. Good back checking by the Fermi forwards. Puck went through, nobody touched it, went wide. Leiden for the tip, no good. Secondary chance to get it out in front. Pete Leiden battling, looks for brother Steve, but there's Bruno to knock it away and clear to center. Don't say that Bruno and Bemis are one-dimensional players. They come back and back check so well. Steve Leiden for SC throws it on net. Jacobs just steers it away as he was off on the off angle. Gavro's pinned up along the boards. Tries to tie it up for a face-off. Steve Leiden goes in along with Bruno. Comes around the nets, looks for an opening. Carlucci shoots through the legs, but it didn't cross the line. Jacobs covers in time. We had about a foot to spare with 3:42 left in the period. Oh, boy.
Great pressure by Stanford Catholic. Great forechecking by Stanford Catholic, and you can just, I think you can just feel that their confidence growing in the offensive zone. Todd still seems to be struggling a little bit at this point. There's 2 of those, he squeeze his legs a little bit tighter together.
McCormick wins the draw. It came right to Romano in the slot, but it was knocked away. Shirley up for SC, throws it back as the Crusaders look to put some pressure on. Butler kicks it away, but here comes Romano. He's got right with him. Pellegrini, the back checker for Fermi, and Paul Matier leaves it up for McCormick over the line. Drives right on, and it's kicked away by Kinahan, the quick pads. That was labeled for the far corner. Paul Matier moving in the slot, has an opening, sticked away by Shirley. And here comes SC, trying to get something going at center. Right, just steers it in. Butler will use the back glass and rip it around the boards. And McCormick comes up with a loose puck, and now a penalty upcoming. And Fermi will get tabbed for 2 more minutes as Gavro will be the guilty party. Elbowing. And that comes with 3:03 left in the period. That'll be 11:57 if I'm not mistaken.
And it looks like Peter Carlucci, Gallagher.
The Leiden brothers, Carlucci, Kester, and Gallagher. Stanford Catholic 0 for 4 on the man advantage. But they do have a special teams goal. That was shorthanded. Carlucci on the power play drives from the top of the slot, and Jacobs gloves it down.
A little extracurricular activities after the whistle.
That was dangerous. Boholski nearly twisted a knee on that one. He was off balance the way he fell there. 11 seconds into the man advantage, 2:52 to play in the period. And it's 6-3.
That one came up real high, and Todd did a good job to hang on.
Fermi jumped off 5-0. Then Stanford Catholic came back with 2 late in the period. Romano made it 5-3. Gavro 6-3. And the Falcons cleared down. Right over skated the puck. Bruno. Whistle along the boards. May have been touched by a Stanford Catholic player. We look down from our position high atop the Hartford Coliseum. We're at the Whaler Radio Network announce position, which is our source of audio tonight. Mark Bresson of WTIC Radio downstairs doing what I normally do for Chuck Caton. I get to play Chuck for a night, and he gets to play me for a night.
Who do I get to play?
Andre. I knew you'd love it. You don't talk like him, though, so don't even try, please. We won't understand you. Back at the point, Scanlon gets it out to Romano. He's open in the slot area, top the slot, moves it down low to deflection by White. Otherwise, a one-time drive would have been taken by Wright. Shot missed way wide, still bounced out in front. Romano was tied up by Butler on a big defensive play there. Otherwise, a poke would have been attempted, and with less than a minute to go in the period.
It's going to be a penalty.
A penalty upcoming on Stanford Catholic. Greg Romano into the box. 4th Stanford Catholic penalty of the evening.
I think it's he called slashing. Oh, he's taking a boat.
They're going to put 2 minutes up there. Butler and let's go down for the calls.
2 minutes for hitting after the whistle. Fermi penalty number 10. Mike Butler, 2 minutes for slashing. Time of both penalties at 14:01.
Referee John Donahue with the calls.
Time of the penalties 14:01, as Greg Gilmartin mentioned.
Fermi tries to make a last-minute substitution there. They're not going to let him on the ice.
Pellegrini leaves it back for his defenseman. As we're down to 50 seconds left in the period, Gavro tries to get something going. Wouldn't you love to wear that number 4? That's a great number. McCormick is knocked off the puck, but he gets it back as he swips it in on second effort. Pellegrini with a nifty move. If he had his good sharp skate angle there, he would have had a chance for a stuff play. McCormick just bats it in, and it's deflected off an SC player and bounces out to center ice. Pellegrini will just steer it in behind Kinahan. We're down to 23 seconds left in the second period. Falcons lead by 3, 6-3. Gavro just backhands it in. It goes deep down in the SC end, and unless we get a turnover here, this should be, well, maybe not. We set a turnover. McCormick with a drive, and Kinahan does the splits and bats it off with a blocker to the far side. They'll tie it up in the corner boards, knocked away by SC, as Slyden will just rip it down the ice as the horn sounds to end the second period. And this was a typical good, solid second period of hockey. Each team scoring a goal. Mark Romano for SC, Gavro on the power play for Fermi. Fran, we head to the third period now with a Fermi 6-3 lead. I think it's still anybody's game. Of course, it's an advantage to Fermi with up 6-3. Do you expect a letdown in the third period?
No, I think the intensity level for both teams is going to pick up. Obviously, an uphill battle for Stanford Catholic, but Kinahan playing better. That was a first-class major league save that he just made, or it might have just been a 4-goal lead again. That was a great shot headed for the stick side high corner. Very nice save. Anybody's game.
I agree. Shots on goal second period. Fermi with 8, a game total of 20. Stanford Catholic 11, game total of 17. 15 minutes of hockey left here at the Hartford Coliseum in the Division II championship game. It's Fermi 6, Stanford Catholic 3. We'll have that third period for you after you watch this. A Continental Sports coverage of Game of the Week. Stay with us.
Join us when the Lego Maniac team plays the New England Patriots in a benefit basketball game for the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Enfield. The game will be played at Fermi High School Thursday, April 12th at 7 p.m. For tickets, call 749-2291, extension 288, or purchase at the door. This game will be aired on Game of the Week, Tuesday, April 17th at 8 o'clock on CCTV 8. Proceeds go to the Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Enfield.
Third period about to get underway at the Hartford Coliseum. Bob Joyce and Fran Bodette. Game of the Week coverage from the Hartford Civic Center of the Division II hockey final. Fran, what might we expect in this final 15 minutes? After the great start Fermi had, a very even period of hockey in period 2. Stanford Catholic's really got a mountain to climb here. Falcons don't let up too many leads. They haven't let up a lead in the third period yet this year.
That's right, and as good as Stanford Catholic played, they certainly played them even in the second period, but they can't play them even. They've got a 3-goal deficit to, it's not unsurmountable. We saw Fermi come from 4-1 and 5-2 deficits when they played last year, so you know it can be done. It's just going to be real difficult. Again, one shift at a time. That, next goal, if it goes 6-4, they could do it.
All right, again, it was 11-8 in the shot chart. Falcons had 2 each from Gavro, McCormick, and Bemis. And the other 2 aren't written down. I think White took one. Just 2, 4, and 6 here. For Stanford Catholic, 3 each by Carlucci and Steve Leiden, 2 by Mark Romano and Lance Wright. Gallagher, the other shot. Situation is this. Each team has a man in the box, Butler and Greg Romano, each a minute 1 on their coincidental minors. Romano with the late hit, Butler with the slash at 14:01. And Bob Palmatier and the Fermi Falcons looking to win their second ever state championship, the last coming, and I believe it was 1983 or 84. I believe they have a list of champions. It was the same year Enfield and Craig Janney won the Division I championship, and this is while the championships were still down at the New Haven Coliseum. The year was, I'll tell you in a minute here, 1983. An 8-5 winner over South Windsor. And as Franny mentioned, Stanford Catholic last played here in the championship.
Well, it would have been 80 or 81.
80 or 81, 81. They lost to Staples 3-2, as you mentioned. So Todd Jacobs and the Fermi defense with some work to do in the final 15 minutes. It's not a given by any means. SC made a game of it. They got it down as close to 5-3 when Romano scored to open up the period. And again, as Fran Bodette mentioned, the first goal is a big one. First goal decides the championship probably. Tony Leone and company rallying around the bench. Fermi is all set to go. Fermi was a cool, collected team coming into this building tonight. In fact, you could see it when Stanford Catholic got here. They came out, looked at the Coliseum, and they said, they were excited about playing here. But at the same time, they were a bit on the nervous side, too, as you could see in the first 7 minutes, yielding 5 goals. And the nervous, most of all, was the man in the net, Shane Kinahan, who came into this game somewhere in the area of a 2.3 goals against average, which is very good. So the third period is underway. We'll skate 4-a-side for the next 55 seconds. So that opens the ice surface up a little bit, and we're going to see how the fatigue factor sets in. Again, a warm Hartford Coliseum building. Fermi's played here last year. Of course, they were the team that had to play from behind in the third period. They were down by 4-1 at the end of 2 last year. And it'll be interesting to see how SC does it. By the way, let's see here, looking down, this is the most goals that Stanford Catholic has given up this year. They had a lot of, let's see here. Yep, it's the lowest scoring, the most goals they gave up all season long. The most beforehand was 5 losses to New Canaan and a win over New Canaan. Steve Leiden back for the Crusaders as they attempt to clear the zone. Bemis poke checks Lance Wright. Bemis loses control at the blue line, throws it in, and Kinahan will just stick it out. It was going to go wide anyways, but you never know. Bemis almost right through his stick, and Carlucci throws it in on Jacobs. White to retreat for Fermi as we played about 45 seconds here in period 3. Fermi looking to win the Division II title. Gavro gets it up to Bemis, who in turn one touches to Bruno. Bruno with a little bit of an opening. You can't give him that. The angle's cut off. Bruno's skating around, looks for Bemis, the trailer at the far circle. Now he races around Leiden. Big Leiden now playing defense in the 4-on-4 situation. Stanford Catholic looks to clear. They get it out to center, but Gavro's right there to poke it back in. And it's backhanded in by Bemis, or Scott White. And Carlucci has the puck elude him, but back comes Romano. And he'll dump it in behind the net. Ripped around by Fermi. Palmatier one-touches it or wedges it out to the blue line, and McCormick's got some room on the left side. Works it on Morris. Poke check nicely by Kinahan. The trailer comes in, though. Third trailer, Pellegrini missed it wide. And a whistle, and let's see, is the puck off, is the net off its mooring, or are we going to have a penalty?
Well, Kinahan's still down.
He lunged out, and what he did to poke check the puck away, and then there was a bit of a scramble in front. And it'll be interesting to see here with 13-14 to go exactly what comes out of this. Palmatier's going to the box. And that'll be a Fermi penalty. Palmatier will go in the box 2 minutes for a slash. So that opens the door now for SC to get back into this with a man advantage.
Scary moment there for Stanford Catholic. Seemed to start with a, they were trying to make a line change. Basically trying to make a line change, got a little screwed up there at the blue line and gave Fermi the opportunity to come down one-on-one, which created then a shot, the rebound, scramble in front of the net on another rebound, and very good opportunity for Fermi. Dangerous situation for Stanford Catholic, but the penalty results, now they have the penalty, the power play, and a chance to get back in the game.
Sixth power play for Stanford Catholic. They have yet to convert. They're 0 for 6. Romano may look to change that, though. He's open in the slot, and he missed it high and wide. Duffy clears Romano off the puck. Remember, there are two Romanos out there, Mark and Greg. Mark number 9, Greg 11. Pass intended for Greg from right. Back to the point, drive, and missed the net wide. Jacobs had the angle covered, and it's cleared down the ice. In fact, into the Fermi bench area, as 26 seconds has elapsed on the Stanford Catholic man advantage. Down 3 and in search of a goal, and they need one.
And that excellent Fermi penalty killing unit's out there again. At this point, though, if you're Stanford Catholic, you've got to be aggressive. You got to try to put the puck in the net.
McCormick battling back to the point. Drive was way high by Kester. Kept in by Jason Scanlon, pinching in on the power play. An off-angle drive way wide right through the crease area. Kester one times it right through Jacobs' legs off a deflection and just missed the net wide. Romano score. Greg Romano picks up the loose puck that Fermi failed to clear. Big power play goal with 12:23 to go. And the deficit is back to 2. It's 6-4.
Great pressure by Stanford Catholic. They were just letting the puck fly. A couple of long shots from the point. Not real good coverage by Fermi on the points. Those guys were just letting it fly. Finally, Todd gives up a rebound, and they're there to poke it in.
2:37, the time of the goal. We'll wait for any assists. I don't believe there won't be any, but certainly it gets them right back in it. It's a 6-4 game now. Morrison Bemis behind the net. Pete Leiden throws it around for Carlucci. We await the assists, and there is an assist, but Bruno gets a stick on it. Mark Romano on the assist, and Kester. Fermi pinching in. Gavro throws it in, and it's deflected by Steve Leiden, and it goes all the way down the ice. Butler's going to retreat. No icing as it was off a deflection. Fermi now has to be very wary if Stanford Catholic's got second wind here, as we're down to 11:40 to play here in the third period, and it's a 2-goal game. Fermi 6, Stanford Catholic 4.
Stanford Catholic doing a good job forechecking here, keeping the puck in the zone.
Gavro got away with one, played with the puck a little too much, and now it's Bruno away on the right and the left wing. Poke check nicely by Scanlon. Back trailing is Fermi. Gallagher away for SC. Gavro misses the check. Gallagher looks to center off a leg. Fermi with some good help on the back checking portion as Bruno comes back to help out. Gavro takes his man off the puck, and McCormick's away. He's got White with him 2-on-2. McCormick had a good first step on Scanlon, had him beat, but lost the puck in the process. Wright and Bemis go into the corner. Bemis comes up with the puck. Centering pass in the slot area. McCormick up with it. Turnaround center for Bemis. Missed him, and it went right on net. Kinahan sticked it away. Bemis keeps it in the zone. SC will finally clear with 10:40 to play in the third. It's turned into a doozy here from Hartford. Bemis plays it off the near boards right in front of his own bench. Rafferty up with it for Stanford Catholic, and he'll just steer it into the Fermi zone. Fermi will reload here as Stanford Catholic changes on the fly. Romano's got a breakaway. Moving in, slap shot. And I believe Jacobs got the blocker on it. If not, he missed it wide and high. Romano off the loose puck, near circle. Looks for an opening, throws it in front and right through the crease area. Pellegrini will chase. Kept it at the point. Mark Romano up with it, but right in the stick of Bemis, and here come the Falcons away. 1-on-3. Now Pellegrini joins the group. It's a 2-on-4, and it's broken up as Lance Wright sends Mark Romano off to the races. Splits the defense. Moving in on Jacobs. And a penalty upcoming here as Jacobs makes the save. But a hooking penalty is coming up to Kevin Poholski or Brett Pellegrini of Fermi. And it comes with 9:56 to go. That would be 5:04. And again, the Crusaders on the man advantage here, and Fermi's getting himself in a little bit of trouble. Romano with a great play, using his speed. Maybe Fermi's tiring a little bit. They only have 4 defensemen. And let's see if SC can convert on this one.
Didn't look like he had a lot of room, but he split the defense again, showing that speed. Little change of pace there, and all of a sudden he shifted gears and he was through. Nice opportunity.
Minutes for hooking. Time of the penalty at 5:04. Poholski gets 2 for hooking at 5:04.
Great job to draw the penalty and earn him a power play.
Well, credit the speed, too. He went right through 2 white shirts. And he still managed to get somewhat of a shot on net that gave Jacobs a little bit of trouble. Leiden, Kester, Gallagher. Up front, Steve Leiden back at the point. He drives one through a screen. Wide on the short side. Carlucci, the other point man. And it's quickly golfed out and down the ice by the Falcons. As we're down to 9:40 to go, we begin to do some clock watching. This is a very big power play for Stanford Catholic. They need to convert here to make this a 1-goal game and make things interesting for the stretch run. Palmatier with second effort clears the zone. Steve Leiden off his skates, onside. Kester has it poked away by Gavro. He's played well tonight. It's Carlucci knocking it in, loose puck. It bounced over Kester's stick. He had to deal with a bouncer and couldn't quite come up with it. Barely kept in at the point by Steve Leiden. Now it's Gallagher who centers it, but right there is Rob Palmatier, and he can't clear the zone. But then, on the impetus of Pete Leiden, Bruno's got a breakaway. Possible hook here. Kinahan comes out. But the play results in a penalty here as the Falcons wait for SC to touch it. And Bruno is hooked by young Pete Leiden, who was the one that took the puck out of the zone as it was kept in. His forward impetus was coming towards the blue line. He knocked the puck back to center and enabled to give Bruno a chance at a breakaway. And a big penalty here ends the SC man advantage with 57 seconds left on that man advantage. 8:53 to go in the hockey game.
Great individual effort by Mike Bruno. I guess the good players play good in the good games, in the big games, Bob, and that was a great individual effort. Again, drawing the penalty.
4:07 the time of the call. Or no, it's not right. 6:07? 6:07, that's right. Of course, it has to be. 8-6 is 14, and 53 is, anyways. Enough of the math. Here's Bemis. He has a chance. Here's McCormick in front, and he missed it wide. Just wide off the far post. Bemis regains his composure. Throws it in front. Deflected away. The team skate forward side, and Lance Wright's off to the races. He's got Duffy back on defense. Puck comes loose. Butler there to back check. Off the boards, back to the Fermi zone, where John McCormick looks to wind it up for Bemis. Bemis touches it. Almost got by Scanlon. Scanlon stayed enough composure to keep the puck in his front of him and knocks it down in the Fermi end where Duffy will just punt it, in a sense. Out to Bemis, one touch McCormick. 1-on-2. John will look for an opening. He'll drive one, never got his shot off, and Bemis has to wait, and he'll just flip it into the far corner. 8:05 to go. Regulation time at 6-4 Falcons. McCormick had it touched by Kester, and now the Falcons will have the man advantage for the next minute 2. And a Falcon goal here all but puts away SC, I would think. This is a big kill-up coming here. Carlucci just steers it to the line where Duffy up for Fermi, looks for an opening. Bruno was the intended man. It was gloved down. Bemis will be the next to touch it, so play keeps going. 7:37 to go. Off the official, Bemis has a second life at going after the puck. He gets it cross ice. White's away, 2 green shirts with him. White gets around Kester, no call. Could have gone either way there. I guess the officials are like the NHL here. They swallow the whistle in the third period. Of course, we could be wrong. Here's Mark Romano with some, or that's Greg Romano, number 11, with a little bit of good forechecking, using his body well. Gavro gets it up to McCormick. John gets it out to the wing for White. White, drop back Gavro with some time. Had a little more time than he thought he had, and he just tried to wrist one in there, and he missed it way wide. Now Bruno with some room to operate. Gets by 1 green shirt at the point. Now finds Gavro top of the circle, off his stick. Looks to reload. Now an opening on the wide side, and he managed to put it on. McCormick had a chance at a rebound, and he couldn't quite get the stick on it. Is Pete Leiden. Yeah, that is Pete Leiden out there. The penalty time is up, 5 aside. Thought I was seeing things out there. Leiden held up McCormick's stick, and here's SC on a 3-on-2. Paholski breaks up the play, and in front, Romano with a chance to deflect one in, but would have been a difficult wedge shot through the slot area. And now it's Bruno away for Fermi. Up and down action, 6:15 to play, third period. Bruno has to elude a stick that's on the ice. SC uses it to their advantage for the moment, and now the puck comes over on the far side. Paholski at his own blue line. Kevin Paholski has done a great job playing defense here in the tournament. Kinahan gloves down the weak wrister by White. Tries to throw it out. Pellegrini with some pressure, and they'll tie it up. Even, 6 minutes left, third period.
And into the, as George Ehrlich used to say, into the pressure cooker. The last 6 minutes. It's crunch time for Stanford Catholic, Bob. Got to get on the board now.
It's crunch time for both teams. We'll just see how good of a team Fermi really is here. Boy, I tell you, Stanford Catholic would love to play the first 7 minutes of this game over again.
You bet.
McCormick knocks it over to the sideboards, driven down the ice, and this will be icing. We have not had too many icings in this hockey game. Credit to both teams there. Again, our video services tonight. The big truck isn't here, although there are 2 gigantic trucks sitting downstairs in preparation for March Madness. The Huskies.
Compliments of CBS?
No. Well, CBS has the trucks. ESPN is providing our footage tonight. And Mark Bresson of WTIC Radio down to the controls of the Whaler Radio Network, in which I'll be running the controls in about 2 hours from now. As the Whalers are in Vancouver tonight. Drew Shamera on a break, just throws it in. Gallagher nowhere near the puck on the centering pass. Paul Mateo rip it as they'll reverse the flow of the play. Shirley gets a slap shot, and that almost went in off a deflection. Jacobs overplayed the deflection, and it went off the outside of the far post.
Might have changed directions more than once.
I think you're right. I'd be willing to say you're right. Pellegrini up with it for Fermi. He's knocked down by Rex Morris. Paul Matier, as the trailer, finds McCormick with a blast, and he missed it high and wide. SC clears the zone. Icing waved off. Duffy retreats. 5 minutes to play. We'll watch the clock for you as the Falcons home in on a Division I title. Would be their second in the school's history.
Now, if you're Fermi, you don't want to drop back too much, and you don't want to drop back in that shell. You want to continue to do what you were doing that got you here.
Jacobs with a terrific save. Leiden, the turnaround is blocked. Jacobs with a money save there to keep it a 2-goal game. Pete Leiden had a chance along with Gallagher. And now the Falcons look to bring it back the other way. Pellegrini will just wrist it down the ice. Shirley will field it with his glove and bring it back for the Crusaders. Paholski has it go by him. He'll go behind the nets. Forechecking by SC. Pete Leiden and Steve Leiden are both there. Bruno comes up with the loose puck for Fermi. Has to get around Carlucci back to the point. Shirley pinching in. Bruno on second effort gets it down the ice.
A lot of pressure by Stanford Catholic on that shift.
4 minutes to go in the game. 6-4 Falcons. Carlucci has the puck elude him, and now it's Butler wristing it in. It'll be interesting what Fermi does. You say the best defense is a good offense. Fermi has a lot of guys that can put pressure on as the puck covered up by Jacobs, just in case any green shirts were around. 3 minutes, 48 seconds left in the third. It's a 6-4 Falcon lead. And this has turned into a very entertaining hockey game.
Yeah, and you watch Stanford Catholic, they changed their line. You look out there at Fermi, those same sweaters, Bruno, Bemis, and White stay out there. So, you know, how much, think they can play the last 3 minutes and 48 seconds?
No. Jacob steers the loose puck behind him. Bruno.
They've got to be tired.
Well, I would think Fermi is just going to go to the red line and dump it, unless they get an opening.
That's what he did.
White will put on some pressure. They're going at half speed here. White. Here's Lance Wright for Stanford Catholic. Romano almost had a break-in. The trailer is Wright, and Bemis breaks it up for White. He'll just dump it in behind the net. 3:20 to go.
Fermi in there, prevent defense.
Yeah, I would think so, unless they get an opening. It almost did. White nearly put it off the side of the net as Bruno fed him from behind. Butler will just poke it to Bemis. Falcons have an opportunity here. Butler at center. Bemis putting some good pressure on, and now the opening. It's Bemis. Gets around his man, puts one in on net. The puck bounces around, and Bruno puts away the championship.
Game time.
Fermi will win.
What a nice move. Stayed wide, just made a pretty move. And a little bit of change of pace. Looked like he was just cruising and all of a sudden shifted gears. Nice shot on goal. The rebound was there and a wide open net staring him in the face.
12:04 the time of the goal. That makes it 7-4. Stanford Catholic trails by 3. You wouldn't expect SC to fold, but I would think this championship is signed, sealed, and delivered for the Fermi Falcons.
They picked their spot, didn't they, Bob? Just like you said, they played defense and they hung back and they hung back until they saw an opportunity and they went for it, and it paid off.
Well, unless we have a mega breakdown, the Falcons have this one wrapped up, and mission will be accomplished on the Division II state championship. This is what they worked for all season long. McCormick was checked by Phil Shalala, and McCormick is down and he is hurt. Right off the face-off, Shalala went right up, and it looked like he cross-checked McCormick, and now Gavro takes down Drew Shamera as the trainers come out. McCormick is still down and hurt. And that comes with 2:42 to go, and now emotions are starting to run a little wild here. McCormick flipped off the helmet, and it looks like he got it up in the chops. Falcons beginning to do a little celebrating, but Bob Palmatier will be the first to say, don't celebrate yet. This game is not over.
And he immediately brings his players over to the bench. Bob wants to have a little talk, get everybody calmed down and focused on this last 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
Well, they
don't want to break down here.
Well, remember, in 2 minutes and 42 seconds last year, Fermi came storming back and made a game of it and eventually won that semifinal game. The folks at ESPN have done a great job in providing us the video. Mark Bresson again downstairs, the Whaler Radio Network. Mark of TIC.
Phil Langan and Mark Willan from the Whaler Public Relations
Thank
Department.
them for doing an outstanding job, and thanks to the coaches, Bob Palmatier and Mickey Leone for all their help in preparation for this contest. And it's almost time to break out the bats and balls. Could have done it today, but the weather is such.
Would have been the only baseball being played, unfortunately.
No, the minor leaguers have started.
And I suppose the college.
Oh yeah, the colleges are way into it. McCormick is still down.
But of the major league variety.
Now he's up off his skates. He got his bell rung, and the crowd gives him a nice hand. At least the Fermi crowd does. You could tell which team is which. Stanford Catholic, the crowd over there, they gave it a great run, but the first 7 minutes destroyed them in this hockey game. They just were not into it then. And Fermi blitzed them, and it paid off. And if you are wondering, we will talk to the winners and the principals involved in our post-game segment of tonight's game. Fran, I know it's only our second hockey game of the winter together, but as usual, it's a pleasure.
Well, if anybody ever asks you, next year when we do the championship game, Bob, how important it is to have played here before, we'll know. It's crucial.
I'll bet right now, Bob Palmatier won't want me to say this, but I would guarantee right now Fermi will not be here next year. They're
Because
moving up
they'll be-
Division I, and they're graduating an awful lot. They've got some good young talent, but they're moving up Division I. They could have played Division I this year.
Oh, absolutely.
In
And
fact,
been competitive.
In fact, if Greenwich is to knock off West Haven in the Division I championship game, Fermi has a very good beef at the #1 state ranking. As would have Stanford Catholic if they had won. Butler back at the point. Throws in the slot. Bruno has it blocked by Kester. And it's cleared back to center where Gavril just crossed the line and whacked it in. Went off of a Stanford Catholic player sitting at the bench. And we'll have a face-off at center ice with an even 2 minutes to play. And the Fermi faithful with their usual na-na hey-heys, and we won't say what they say at the end because it's not goodbye. I mean, it's nothing derogatory, but it's not in what we call good sportsmanship, although you have to laugh at it.
You know, I asked Coach Palmentieri, you know, what they were doing right. What's the secret to the Fermi success? And he said, you know, Fran, he says, we're good.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
He's not afraid to say that. They do have a very good hockey team. He was just hoping he was a better club than Stanford Catholic. Minute 30 to go. SC breaks back. It's Carlucci over the line. Wish to run, score. Right through the 5-hole.
Boy, and how big
Minute
was that
28
last?
to go. And that, yeah, you're right. That was a very big goal, the last one. So Carlucci makes it a 2-goal game again, and that's the closest SC has gotten. And now, with a minute 28 to go, it still gives them a bit of breathing room here. You might see Kinahan come out for a 6th attacker.
Well, that insurance goal, that 7th goal by Fermi, looking huge at this point. With 1:28 to go and a pulled goalie, Stanford Catholic would still be in it. Oh, they still are in it.
Oh,
It's
sure
not
they
over.
are. No.
No matter what the fans chant.
Leiden on one assist, and Morris on the other.
Give Stanford credit a lot. Give Stanford Catholic an awful lot of credit for hanging in this game, being down 5 goals so early.
And they're not out of it yet. Carlucci with another chance.
How about that one?
Folks, we got a game again. Minute 18 to go, and the lead is 1. Wow.
Remind you of last year?
Woo.
How do you do? Unbelievable. I'm running out of paper here, Bob.
13:42, 7-6.
Well, I think Bob's going to go for a timeout, and I think that's very wise.
Well, I told Sandy Zakowski, get another tape ready in case we go overtime. I really didn't think we'd need it after it was 7-4.
Well, I told you, Bob, this is just strategy on the part of Stanford Catholic and Mickey Leone. They wanted to play from behind. I told you. This is all part of the strategy.
Yeah,
They want you
did.
to think they're out of it right
Sure they
down to
did.
the final 30 seconds, and then they're going to tie it up. You watch. Do you pull the goalie here,
Oh, yeah. Here?
or do you let them try to take the zone first, get to the zone, then pull them? 128. I'm sorry, 118.
Yes. Wow.
Not a lot of time.
Well, if you turn off the set and you turn it back on to see the award ceremony, there ain't going to be no award ceremony yet. It's a 1-goal game with a minute 18 to go. Wow. I mean, I even packed this one, signed, sealed, and delivered. I thought it was over.
Well, I know Rick Peckham's talked about seeing a goal scored in 2 seconds.
Well, they did the next best thing, 10 seconds. Wow. The tenacity of this SC team, you got to give them credit. They have hung in there.
Well, you know who's going to be on the ice for Fermi. Let's take a look, though, at Stanford Catholic. Obviously, Greg Romano definitely.
I tell you, Bob Palmentier, the next minute 18 is going to be the longest minute 18 for Fermi they've ever seen.
And there's no one sitting on either bench.
Well, Rob, yeah, there are 3 for
Well,
Fermi
3.
and 1 for Stanford Catholic, but those have been busy players all night.
They're standing up now.
Chance here for SC. Shalala loses it up, but he gets it back. That's Romano. Bruno puts pressure on. It's pinned along the boards, final minute. Romano battling. They wait for a whistle and they get one with 55 seconds to go. Face off to the left of Jacobs in a 7-6 game in which Fermi has given up 2 quickies here in the last 2 minutes.
And Kinahan comes off and Tom Gallagher comes out onto the ice.
Bruno and Greg Romano on the draw. Bruno wins it. Bemis cannot clear. Secondary effort will, however. Fermi being relentless. Bemis with a chance to end it. He'll put it down. It will not be offside. White's there. It takes time off the clock. In fact, White may get a face-off down here. Puck still loose. Romano up with it. Bemis comes up with a loose puck. Throws it in and White's down with 35 seconds to go. I don't know if that's just exhaustion. Maybe he got poke checked with a stick. He was down, and I know there was a lot of poking for the puck down there. But he's up on his knees now, and that forces Kinahan to come out.
He might have been trying to get the face-off in that end. Shane goes out. Now Shane comes back.
Well, I have to apologize to Coach Leone and his club. I thought this game was signed, sealed, and delivered after Bruno made it 7-4. I think a lot of people did. But congratulations to his kids, and if they end up tying this thing, boy, I would think if SC ties this and send it to OT, they certainly have a major league advantage. Would you agree? I
would. I think, emotionally, psychologically, it would all be going in their favor.
All right, so
can they do it in 35 seconds?
Okay, they did. They scored 2 and 10. Anything's possible.
Huge face-off. Fermi won the last big face-off. Bruno goes in for the next one.
Bruno wins the draw. Bemis had it go over his stick. Kester sees a puck bounce around. Palmatier looks to rip it out of the zone. SC keeps it at the point. Puck just crossed the line, and they keep it onside, but Bruno with a chance to end it here. 19 seconds, breaking in, moving in. He fanned down the shot, but he maintains possession. 13 seconds to go. SC with one last chance to rush it up, but I don't think they're going to get it. Puck comes down the ice. Jacobs will watch it go into the corner. The 1990 Division II state champions, Fermi of Enfield. It's over. Woo! And a bad way to end it. Gabbro is, there's some
altercation on the far side.
Gabbro and somebody, Kester or Romano.
Kester.
Scott Toby did the right thing and grabbed Gabbro and let the celebration begin.
Absolutely correct.
You don't like to see that. Thank God nothing came of it. And the Falcons finally get their mission accomplished. But I tell you, it took some work. Great comeback by SC. You can't say enough about their efforts.
Unbelievable finish.
Wow. What workhorses? Bruno, Bemis, White,
McCormick,
Palmatier.
Gavrot played a tremendous game, and Todd Jacobs, he bent, but he didn't break.
It got scary there for a minute, didn't it?
It was scary.
Well, they're going to present the trophy downstairs. We'll meet the winners. The Fermi Falcons win the CIAC Division II championship, beat Stanford Catholic 7-6. Post game from Hartford coming up after this. You're watching Continental Sports coverage of Game of the Week. Stay with us.
It's a complete waste. People are just killing time.
Yeah, that's really our mission. Community TV is all about giving access back to the people and the organizations out in the community, letting them have access to television.
There are people out there with real talent who never tested. What can we do to let them know we're here?
I know what we can do.
Back here at the Hartford Civic Center Coliseum, the Falcons win their second state championship, 7-6 over Stanford Catholic and a gritty Stanford Catholic team. Mike Bruno, 2 goals and an assist in the effort, and it wasn't easy, but I guess you got to be counting your lucky stars. The first 7 minutes went all your way.
Definitely. We knew we had to come out and play and get goals quick because we only had 2 lines. They had 3. We knew they'd stay longer. and keep their stamina longer. So we did what we had to do. We knew what we had to do and just did it.
Now, were you surprised by the fact he got off to such a great start? Kinahan, the goaltender, certainly better than what he showed in that first period. I guess the whole team for Stanford Catholic, they might have been mesmerized by the fact playing in this building.
Yeah, definitely. I think that really did him in. We had to come out to that lead because that goalie hasn't let in any goals, as you know, throughout the playoffs. So scoring, I think it was 15 seconds into the game. That had to shock his mind. He had to been thinking, wow, so that definitely helped.
Nightmares of last year, maybe. The last goal you scored, team was in a bit of a defensive shell, up 6-4 at the time, and you were skating around, playing a dump in. If you got a break, you took advantage of it. Jeff got open, managed to get loose, and you were there for the easy rebound.
Yeah.
What's this feel like, winning a championship? This has got to be one of the best feelings in the world.
We waited a whole year. Last year, at this time, we were saying we'll come back, we'll win it, and we did, and we got the chance, and we did it. And you got to just think all the seniors for last year, you know, like they don't have this chance to come back, so we had to win it for them. Our school, which did a great job this year, I'd like to compliment them with the pep rally, free lunch today in school. They did a great job. I'd like to thank them.
Well, Michael, I know you're a senior. Congratulations on the championship and best of luck on your future endeavors, whatever they may be.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Michael. Mike Bruno, one of our stars of the game. We'll try to get some comments from Bob Palmatier in just a minute. We'll be back. Okay, Bob Palmatier, the head coach, is with me. And, Coach, you got off to a great start, but I would have imagined you got a little nervous there at the end. Stanford Catholic made a great run.
It was like a rerun of last year. And I never thought we had the game. Well, I did. I thought we had it at 2:42. And I was going the last 2:42 with the players that got us there. And they still managed to score. One shot, and then another shot. And with 1:18 left, I said, oh, well, maybe it's going to overtime. But I'm so glad it didn't, because I don't think our kids would have handled it. I think we would have lost.
Now, you got off to such a great start. I think maybe Stanford Catholic may have been a bit intimidated by the building, the fact that they were playing in a warm building. Like you mentioned, we talked on the phone the other day. Were you surprised by the fact you got off to such a quick start?
Absolutely. We sort of come out every period with that first shift with the idea of scoring. Now, we did it against Norwalk, the same kind of system, and it worked here again tonight, both in about 15 seconds. It's the other two in a row that really surprised me. I didn't think that was going to happen at all. How about being ahead? Gee.
The good thing is you never fell behind in this game. Now, you're losing an awful lot next year, and of course the Division II championship goes up to Division I. What might you be?
Competitive. I'll have a good line. I'll have a decent first line, 4 strong defensemen, and the key will be these 5 freshmen. How well they can play as sophomores, how much they grow over the summer. I'm hoping they grow. A couple of them on the small side, but they're talented. The kids got a lot of talent, and they show it in practice, and they've improved 100% over the course of the year. So that will be the key. If we have 2 lines, we'll be a competitive team.
Okay, folks, that's it from Hartford. The Fermi Falcons win the Division II championship as they knock off Stanford Catholic, and a great effort by them, 7-6. For Fran Bodette and all of us here at Continental Sports, Bob Joyce, so long from Hartford. Again, the final, Fermi 7, Stanford Catholic 6.
Yeah, my thoughts. It's so fun to basically win. Every senior that graduated last year was able to share in there. Thank you. We came back here with a mission. It just feels awesome to come back here and win it. Come back, it's 2 years in a row, which is very hard to do, and win it.
You guys, a lot of adrenaline in the first period. It looked like you guys were going to win it right there. You jumped up a 5-0 lead.
Yeah, we had an advantage because we were here before. I think they were a little bit nervous and we were a little calm. Stanford Catholic's a hell of a team. They outscored us 6-1 the last 2 periods. But at the beginning, we came out pumped up like we usually do, and we got enough goals to put the game away, fortunately. And it just feels so great, you know, it's unbelievable. We have so many people to thank that helped us. It feels great.
Now, the way you guys jumped out to that quick 5-0 lead, it looked like the Falcons were going to put it away in the first period, but not so.
Oh, that definitely helped. If it wasn't for that, I don't know where we'd be. They're a great team, and they started late, and I'm glad we could come out like that. That's the kind of team we are. I'm glad we could do it.
Well, congratulations.